In the last class, we were talking about time concept. And remember, when we were talking about time concept, this second minute has no meaning. Actually, it creates a lot of confusion. And if we observe very carefully, the life that is being given to us is calculated based on nimisham, not based on second minute. In fact, in many colloquial language, it is there. Especially I have seen in Odisha also. They will say how many nimisham are there for him, not how many seconds, how many minutes, okay? They use the word very carefully. How many nimisham this person is going to be alive. Very nicely, this concept was being highlighted. However, we discussed this time concept in details, that to understand that in this Kala Chakra, this wheel of time, we are just not even if a dot, insignificant Jiva individual. And moreover, this concept is always remembered through Sankalpa. It is not a Sankalpa we do to gain energy, to prove ourselves, but also to remind how ordinary, insignificant Jiva I am. And moreover, when I look at me with reference to Brahmaji day, because in the last class we discussed very carefully. So what we said, that if we see about Brahmaji, so that means what? 1000 Chaturiyuga becomes Brahmaji one day. So that means what? We have also discussed, if you remember, that means what? Now I don't want to confuse you more. Enough, I confused in the last class. That means what? 432. So 432 into 4 zeros, remember, is called one Chaturiyuga. 4 yugas, okay? Together. Now, if we calculate that 432, 4 zeros into 1000, you know what will happen? 432 plus 7 zeros right side, okay? So that becomes Brahmaji one day. Now in one day, he has day also night. So when he goes to sleep, in fact, when he wakes up, that becomes one kalpa. So that means what? If we look at what would be the kalpa's time period, human years. So these are years, okay? Human years. So these human years called 216, right side 7 zeros, okay? 216, right side put 7 zeros. That becomes one kalpa. I think I have earlier said this point sometime. This Mahakumbha that is continuing, that it is being accepted. Whoever goes and stays there for one mandalam. So one mandala means for 45 days. And the punyam the person will get is like doing rituals for one kalpa. So what is one kalpa? This is kalpa is what? 216 into 7 zeros right side, not okay, not left side. So that means what? Imagine these many human years of work, you will get the result if you are there for 45 days. That is why this Mahakumbha is really becoming more and more popular all over the world. And of course, in another 3 days, God only knows, okay? 29, we are waiting. So this Amavasya, this new moon day, because that is supposed to be the right time. However, that's not the point. Now, Brahmaji goes to sleep. Kalpa comes to an end. Now when Brahmaji wakes up, now everything is different. There is nothing is visible as you wake up. Now these aspects being carefully presented in Puranas through this Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, because we need to understand few points very carefully. Like we all have misconception, especially Tamil Nadu people here. I am bringing it very carefully. Many of you have put Tripundam, these 3 lines. So when you put these 3 lines, do you know these 3 lines, is it related to Shaiva or is it related to Advaita Vedanta? This is a big question for all of you. Because many people will say, because we are Shiva Bhakta, that's why we put this Tripunda, this Vibhuti, 3 lines. Technically speaking, if you are Saiva Bhakta, means Shiva Bhakta Saiva, yes, you are allowed to put Tripunda, but this Tripunda has to be Dhanushakara, like a bow. And it should start from here. And it should be Dhanushakara, like a bow. And not only that, also in between, there has to be another mark. So that is called Saiva Tripunda. Be very clear what you are using it, okay? Or else it's a big confusion. However, the regular Tripunda that you are putting, it is not related to Shiva. It is not Saivite Tripundam, but it is related to Advaita Vedanta. We'll talk later on. Just one point I would like to mention here. So never ever get confused. However, we will be seeing these are the small things. Here we talk this concept very carefully. Eka Paramatma, Eka Brahman. Now, what we say becomes Bahudha, becomes many. And there are 3 aspects, mainly Vishnu and Shiva. We have discussed many times that Brahmaji is Rajasic aspect, Vishnu is Sattvic aspect, and Rudra becomes Tamasic aspect. And looking at this aspect, that's why when Brahmaji here goes to sleep, means what? The Paramatma is having Tamasic aspect. Now, when Tamasic aspect is predominant, Pralayam comes. Is it clear? So, Pralayam means dissolution. So, now what they have done? So, they have said when Brahmaji goes to sleep, now everything is submerged in water. To explain very carefully how this happens, now they say the earth, the Prithvi was inside the water completely. So to explain this, now when Brahmaji wakes up, discovers there is nothing, only water. Now what he has to do, please understand, this waking up stage is nothing but mainly Tamasic and Rajasic. Observe yourself how it works. That is how in Purana very carefully presented. Now when tamasic and rajasic, this aspect is called Brahmaji. Now Brahmaji has to shift himself to sattva guna, sattvic, not again tamasic, okay, as you all do, okay. Once more, go and use your restroom, then drink some water. You understand? Now from Rajasic, now Brahmaji, what is Purana says, when the water, or let us say, was covered, or the earth was submerged in water, now Varaha avatar comes, Vishnu. So Vishnu means here Sattva Guna. Now when Sattva Guna comes, now this is what common belief, that Brahmaji started meditating, means here now from Tama Guna comes Sattva Guna, dwelling upon Sattva Guna or making Sattva Guna predominant. Now in Sattva Guna, Brahmaji discovered there is nothing but lotus. Now it is connected to Vishnu, which stands for Sattva Guna iti. And in that Sattva Guna, now we say commonly that Vishnu gives order to Brahma. Nobody gives to order to anybody. Don't worry. However, here now because of Sattva Guna, now Sattva Guna takes over. What? For restoring. Because if Raja Guna takes over to restore anything, always remember there will be always destruction. You can see yourself with Rajoguna predominance. If you try to restore anything in your life, let it be any relationship, let it be anything in your life, is it going to be healthy or helpful in long run? Whereas anything is restored based on Sattva Guna, you will see a big difference. Now what happens? Beautifully, look at these aspects. Now, Vishnu, the Sattva Guna of Paramatma, here, what does he do? Now, he takes the, let us say, Varaha avatar, so incarnation of boar. Now, interestingly, when he wants to uplift this earth, now he starts making noise. So that sound is so lyric, and in fact that is called Samaveda. That's why Samaveda, Vedanam Samosmi iti. Among all the Vedas, Samaveda is considered the best. In Bhagavad Gita we have seen this. And interestingly, when Varaha avatar, the incarnation of Varaha Vishnu, now uplifted with lot of, let us say, effort. That's why Sattva Guna has to take the help of Rajoguna. So without taking the help of Rajoguna, Sattva predominant, Rajoguna becomes secondary. Now what happens? Automatically all this water starts falling down from the body of boar, or you can say Varaha. And that water started falling down. Remember, here I would like to say, generally when Brahmaji goes to sleep, mainly Bhu, Bhuva, Suvaha, these three lokas goes to sleep. Whereas Jana, Maha, other lokas never go to sleep. That's why all the Saptarshi and other people go to other lokas. But this Saptarshi and other people, they also come to resolution that we have already discussed. What? This, when this Manu comes. So Manu comes means what? Here Manvantar time only all these things happens. So let us not get into again too much in details. Now here what happens? Now all these mainly all these um, rishis starts, what they do, starts praying. Now whatever stuti and other thing happened, and later on Brahmaji also started doing prayer. All these things are nothing but the hymns, all other Vedas. And interestingly, when all these things happens, now we need to understand how Brahmaji started creating the creation. Now Sattva aspect is taken care. Now what does the Sattva Guna do? Now allow the Rajoguna to take over. So Rajoguna means what? Brahmaji. Now Brahmaji starts playing his work. So he says, okay, now I take over. So he becomes the creator. So when he starts creating this whole universe, so they say very nicely, there are many things, but mainly first comes from Brahmaji, from Sattva-guna, called Mahat Tattva. Technically what we call as Hiranyagarbha iti. Because in Vedanta we have seen all these things, okay? So I am trying to combine, trying to make a match wherever possible. So this from Hiranyagarbha comes what? Tanmatra, Pancha Tanmatras, Panchabhutas, 5 elements, and later on elementals. And this Pancha Tanmatra are called as Bhuta Sarga, which happens to be the second creation of Brahmaji. So first creation is Hiranyagarbha, second one would be Bhuta Sarga, called Tanmatras, 5 elements, and later on elementals. Secondly comes that all these are called Indriya Sarga. All these Indriyas, all the sense organs are being created. Thirdly comes, we call as that Mukhya Sarga. So Mukhya Sarga, where mainly the mountain, trees, etc. are being born. Then comes Tiryaka Sarga. So Tiryak means straight. So that is nothing but all Pashu Pakshi, Kita Patangadi. So means animals and bird, insects, etc. And in fact they are called as Tiryaka Yoni very nicely, because everything is straight. In our case what happens? Head is top. Okay, you can say, Swamiji, this is also straight. Then I'll say, okay, keep your logic with you, be wherever you are. Don't attend the class, okay? So vertical, horizontal, straight, okay? Then I have to use the word, hey, look, you become stupid, I have to be another stupid fellow, okay? However, so this Tiryak, so everything is in one line. That's why here he says they are called Tiryak. Then next comes Deva Sarga. All the gods and different demigods are born. Then comes Manava Sarga, human beings. Then Anugraha Sarga, all other things. And last one is called Kaumara Sarga, which is the mixture of everything. So put together, Brahmaji, what he did, he created everything keeping with mainly Raja Guna, Sattva Guna and Tama Guna in mind. So somewhere Sattva Guna is predominant. In fact, the first 5 where we called as that Prakruta. So first 5 will be called as Prakruta, next one will be called Vaikruta. So we have all technical words where the Sattva Guna is predominant, where Raja Guna is predominant, where Tamo Guna, where it is a mixture of many things. So in short, the whole creation is nothing but the presentation of Sattva, Raja and Tamo Guna. And that is how, including Devatas, Asuras, Pitrus and Rishis were born. Now when this way it was born, now what Brahmaji has to do? Now here he says very carefully, now all these creations, Brahmaji also started creating. In fact, all the different Vedas, Chandas from different ways started coming it. In fact, we also say that each face of Brahmaji starts representing one Veda. And why? There are also a lot of, we have examples, and also why and how. Let me not get into that too much. Now, when everything comes to, let us say, a functioning state, now Brahmaji was very happy. Okay, I have done what is to be done. Now what is to be? Now I can take rest. And especially after creating this, remember, this creation is all our mental. So that's why manasa krutaha iti. Especially after creating Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, Sanata Kumara, all these great tapasvi people, Brahmaji thought, my job is done, creation will continue. But mainly these four, they were not interested in creation, including Narada also in that. Okay? They were not interested in that. They said, how does it matter to us? We are born, let us enjoy our life, keeping mind with Sattva-guna. We are not interested in Rajaguna, forget about Tamoguna. Because remember, this is a beautiful point to observe. Unless the person has some Tamoguna and Rajoguna, will not be able to engage in the activities. That's why more you are engaged in the activities, that means Tamoguna and Rajoguna. Very, wrong statement today, but what can I do? The more Sattva-guna you have, less Tamoguna you will discover, you will start withdrawing. And again, from Rajoguna, what will happen? When it becomes more and more Sattva-guna, you will discover entirely differently. Whereas Tamoguna makes you, pushes you to do new things. So if you are, starting new things, many things new, this, that, jumping, doing this, doing that, means what? Better you know this. This is the truth, okay? However, let me not get into lot of other controversials, because it's a Purana. I am supposed to boost you, not bring you down, okay? But what can I do? So I am talking based on Vedanta, so that's why I have to bring it, okay? Nothing, I don't have much choice. Now, what happened is, here, when Brahmaji discovered this, especially all these Manasa Putras, Sanata, Sanandana, Adi, they were not interested propagating or continuing this human creation. They were least bothered. Then what is to be done? Then he said, okay, enough. Now let me start creating some more. And that is how he started creating all these Saptarshis. All Rishis. Saptarshi is different. Later on I will be talking. Because Vishwamitra, even though he is Saptarshi, but he was not created. He is not a Manasaputra. So he came later on. So generally, Bhrugu, Pulaha, Kratu, Angira, Marichi, Daksha, Atri, and Vasishtha. And these are Manasaputra of Brahmaji. Now, when Brahmaji, please understand how very carefully also we need to understand. Brahmaji, when started creating this thing, but how to keep engage these people? In fact, they say very carefully, yes, Brahmaji had given the course. Let me not get into that aspect. To this Manasaputra, Sanatana Adi. That is another level. That's if I get into that mode, that will be another channel. Okay, because this Purana has got many layers. Every karma has its own impact. Actually, when he discovered this group of people, they are sons, let us say, not interested in creation, he got angry. That means when Rajaguna becomes Tamoguna, anger means what? Tamoguna. So this Tamoguna becomes Rudra Rupa. Lord Shiva there comes. And what happens? That when Shiva appears, that means Brahmaji not there. Now Shiva Rupa comes. Now this Rudra Rupa, the form of this tamasic aspect, got divided into 11 parts differently. That's why Ekadasa Rudra. So these 11 Rudras comes based on this. Dwadasa Aditya, Ekadasa Rudra. We'll see different context why Dwadasa Aditya, 12 sons. I think we had discussed in Aditya Hrudayam. However, here he says Ekadasa Rudra. What happens interestingly? When this Rudra Rupa appeared, now it appeared as Ardhanarishwara. So Ardhanarishwara means half of the body is called male, half of the body is called female. It is inseparable. And because inseparable, now from this whatever creation comes, so the man will look for woman, woman will look for man. So the male, whatever concept, so they will look for each other because they are inseparable. And Brahmaji did a good job, you understand? Pushing these children, nothing worked. Now made us in such a way, don't worry, things has to move further, and it moved. Then after this thing, what he did, so now after doing, he says beautifully, when it formed 11 types, Rudra came, so it had its own different colors, different aspects. And Brahmaji, okay, again, this Rudra Rupa came down, means Tamasic went away, then Rajasic came back. Now Brahmaji again started continuing. So what he did? So first what he did? He created Manu. So what is the first Manu is what? Called Swayambhuva Manu. And Swayambhuva Manu got married to Satarupa. So Satarupa was a lady. So again Manasaputra, who happens to be, that's why her name was Satarupa, very nice name. So the one who can, has different forms, means stands for purification, and she has done lot of tapas later on. So this from Satarupa and Swayambhuva Manu, now they gave this 2 sons and 2 daughters. So the son name is called Priyavrata and Uttanapada. Daughter name is called Prasuti and Akruti. So these are the, generally we remember the names. Generally when you give the name of the people, you can give based on this, okay? Prakruti, Prasuti and Akruti. And interestingly, so here this Swayambhuva Manu later on gave Daksha. So Daksha was one of the rishi. He became Prajapati, he became the king. So the Prasuti got married to whom? This Daksha Prajapati. As you know, popularly, all of us we know. See, from Daksha Prajapati and Prasuti, Sati was born. Lord Shiva got married. That is another point contextually also we need to look at. So in short, now when we say Prasuti gave birth to 24 daughters. Very nice point I would like to bring here. That's why I am trying to stretch a little bit carefully. Now, out of this 24, Dharma Raja. So Dharma Raja means the embodiment of Dharma. One, let us say you can say stand one Devata. So he got married 13. So all 13 were there with Dharmaraja. So you must say, oh, what is this? This is polygamy, this gamy, that gamy. Please don't talk all these things, okay? This is not really suitable. Why and how, without knowing, never ask this question. Even if in mind also, don't think. However, who are they? Shraddha, Lakshmi, not this Lakshmi, our Vishnu's Lakshmi, okay? This is different. Shraddha, Lakshmi, Dhruti, Pushti, Tushti, Medha, Kriya, Buddhi, Lajja, Vapu, Shanti, Siddhi, and Kirti. So these are the daughters. Why I brought these daughters? Because I have a point to mention. And all other were being married, especially this rishis, like Pulaha that we saw, all these rishis, that Vasishtadi, all the rishis also, they got married other people. And of course, one was there among them, the best, called Sati. Lord Shiva got married. Now, mainly we will discuss with reference to this Saddha, Lakshmi, etc. When they got married to Dharma, they have given birth to few people. They are our subject of discussion. That's why I brought this point. Says beautifully, so the Shraddha gave birth with Dharmaraja to Kama. So Kama means desire, okay? And interestingly, Lakshmi gave Darpa. Darpa means arrogance. You can see the connection, okay? Now, so wherever there is Lakshmi, wherever there is prosperity, there is what? Darpam, the arrogance. So wherever there is Shraddha, so Shraddha is not managed, it goes to Kama. Then Dhruti becomes Niyama. So where there is withdrawal, there is rules and regulations. Tushti gives Santosha, satisfaction. And of course Pushti means everything is there, everything comes, gives Lobha, greed. And Medha gives birth to Shruti, to listen to. And of course, Kriya, the action, you can say, gives Danda. So you want to punish, you want to, bus over, take over. And of course, Naya and Vinaya, these three Kriya gives Danda, Naya and Vinaya. So that means what? How you can bend down or you can lead yourself through the action. Buddhi gives understanding. Then Lajja, same, becomes humility. And then very nicely, Shanti gives Kshama. Shanti means the speech gives Kshama, forgiveness. And Siddhi gives Sukham, happiness. Kirti gives Yasas, fame. Now, when we look at all these things, very good concept. Dharmaraja means the embodiment of dharma, dharma purusha. So this, you can say, the universal law aspect, if you want to talk in, secular language, okay, which is the most confusing language, okay. However, these are the combinations. That means what? That each aspect that is in us are connected to one aspect of this creation of Brahmaji. So whatever aspect is predominant in me, I need to look at very carefully what is the root cause. And once I look at the root cause, I can reverse the process carefully. In fact, this will be very much helpful for psychological understanding, especially any psychological trauma that the person has gone through or is going through will be addressed through this very carefully. Now, interestingly, we say that Bhrigu Rishi, who happens to be Divyadrashtha and supposed to be the best astrologer, you can say, Jyotishagyaha iti. That's why we look at Bhrigu Samhita. He got married to Khyati. Actually, this Khyati is nothing again, this out of 24 daughters, okay, from that. From them, actually, Lakshmi was born. This is Lakshmi. And that Lakshmi actually is none other than the consort of Lord Vishnu. But you may say, how is it possible? We know Lakshmi was born from the ocean. And how is it possible? Actually, here, there is another point is there, some course was there. So, every kalpa things changes. So, based on kalpas, everything keeps changing. So, in this kalpa, Lakshmi is nothing but was out of what? This Samudra Manthanam. But we need to look at other kalpas. So, you don't have to mismatch at all. But however, here also says, when dharma was there, adharma also is there. So dharma purusha, adharma purusha. So how can you see the concept, how is being very carefully being presented? If you say justice and injustice, right or wrong, it is very abstract sense. Whereas we make it as a purusha, an embodiment, an individual. Now the individual has to be acquainted with people. So he has to have his family. Without family, things will not move. That's why dharma was with many. And from them, many were born. Adharma also cannot keep quiet, opposite of dharma. So that fellow comes up. So what he did? So he got married to Himsa. So what is Himsa? Violence. So he has to prove himself, okay? Then of course, when he got married to violence, so he had also son. And of course, he has one son and one daughter. So the son name was called Lies. Anurta. So very good in telling lies, okay? And daughter name is called Nikruti. So that means anything and everything presents differently. That's why, and of course, Later on, what happened? From lies, Anruta, there was a child born called Bhaya, fear. And from daughter Nikruti was born called Naraka, where we have all sort of problem, all conflicts. Or you can say hell, okay? And then also they were born Maya and Vedana. And interestingly, when this thing happens, later on from them, what happens? Different type of, now, from Maya comes Mrityu, death, and based on that, Vyadhi, disease, Jara, geriatric problem, Shoka, grief, and thirst. All these things were being born. So in short, all these things were created from tamasic aspect. So the whole creation is nothing but mixture of predominantly tamas and later on rajas. Can you see? And wherever rajasic is more, it's better. Where tamas is more, all this conflict. Now, in short, we look at Puranas this way, that anything and everything that is in me is Ishvara. One very good aspect of Pujya Swamiji, what he highlights always, that everything is in order. Even if somebody says wrong things, does wrong things, still that is in order. Nothing is in disorder, except me thinking that this is in disorder. Can you see this point? And this was a very unique approach of Pujya Swamiji, that anything and everything when is in order, then what I do? Definitely, I am not intolerant of anything in my life. Whatever comes, I am not intolerant at all. And when I am not intolerant of anything, remember, that means what? I will see the sattva guna in me. Raja guna and of course tamo guna will not take over at all. Because at that time tamo guna will take over, where I start defending, I start fighting with so-called disorders. And when anything and everything is in order, it is exactly like wife and husband fight, okay? You know, when wife points out something, if the husband doesn't bother, what happens to wife? Wife will go crazy, okay? I am talking something, can't you listen to me? Please. It's also other way around, okay? It's not only wife, okay? Also same thing also. Man says, wife doesn't bother. Also man will go crazy much more, okay? Straight I will say, okay, either I have to go to the hospital or I have to take her hospital. This is the main thinking, okay? At least woman will manage it, okay? Something is seriously wrong. However, so how this happens? Whereas when you start retaliating, then you know what happens. So you keep fluctuating in your houseworks. So also here, all these creations, all these creations that we saw in this creation moves based on this. Now, when this is the case, we need to look at everything moves based on the order. And basically, when there is disorder, time to time, when there is imbalance, we need to balance it. And for balancing, we need some external factor. And that is how this Samudra Manthana concept came. Samudra Manthana means churning the ocean. From where this Kumbh Mela Amrutam came also, okay? Because especially when a group of people called Devatas, let us say good, and other one is not good. Let us say one group of people selfish, insecure, Tama Pradhana. Other one is Sattva Pradhana. So when these two people, two set of people could not go together, started fighting with each other, then what happens? Day by day, everybody lost their standpoint. Also, they became weak. And if they become weak, how can this creation continue? So that was a concern. Then what they did? Okay, now we need to request again. What? We need the help of both Sattva, Raja and Tama Guna, all the three gunas. That's why Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, three of them played major role in Samudra Manthanam. In what? Churning the ocean. I hope whatever story you got, now you are getting the connection. It makes a big sense. So what was the story? Quickly, I can say the Samudra Manthana story. So all these are connected. We say, when they do the churning, first of all, nobody talks this point. The churning was not done this ordinary Samudram. And remember, we have different type of Samudra. Samudra means ocean, okay? I accept Samudra means, you know. Samudra means ocean, okay? So we have different type of ocean. Ocean means what? A vast amount of liquid. Not necessarily water, okay? This Samudram, what we have called Kshara Samudram. This is salty. We have also called freshwater Samudram. The water is full of what? Very good water, fresh water, you can say. How is it possible? Don't worry. They are now trying to discover in different planets, okay? We are just talking about small planet, that to dwarf planet called the solar system, okay? And we have also called milk ocean. So this milk ocean, when Puranas talks, people start laughing. Kshira Samudra, where Vishnu was taking rest. Sattva Guna. But when scientists give the name called milk wave, people grab the word. Wow. You understand? Milk ocean is ridiculous. It's very funny. It's outdated. You know all these things, okay? When the so-called scientist gives called milk wave, oh, fantastic. So where this milk wave comes from, this Kshira Samudra, you have to see all these links everywhere. That's why always I say Britishers have destroyed the world culture. They have stolen all idea and put the brand everywhere. Out of joke, let me little bit go out of. I think some 20-25 years back, when that time when in Chennai I was, newly this patent word came, because in India we did not know what is patent, very new. And they started from America. This drive started from America, because America is nothing but again what? British colony. Till now also, whatever America decides is based on the Britain. Let me not get into international politics, okay? So this patent concept came. So what is patent? Steal somebody property and put as yours. And somebody took the patent for turmeric. This was a joke. I remember in Tamil Nadu those days you used to say, hey look, because we did not know what is patent. So when news appeared. So remember, in kitchen if you say turmeric, put some turmeric, for that word you used, you have to pay some money to the fellow, okay? So we had a big joke those days. However, please understand, these Britishers, they stole everything and confused the world differently. And we all are product of Britishers' confusion. Tell me a single person who is not confused by Britishers. If you say no, you are not confused by Britishers somewhere or other, I'll just get up, okay, go, okay? Maybe those who are not untouched by the society, especially English, they don't know anything, nor they are exposed to any English or modern material, they can say openly they are not confused by Britishers. I don't think anybody is in their universe now. And when you are confused by Britishers, never ever hold on to any standpoint. Your standpoint has no value at all. That one has to be very clear, careful. Here, when this Samudra Manthanam was done, the Vishnu became Kachchap avatar, a tortoise, Kurma avatar. So in Kurma avatar, means tortoise, means Sattva Guna becomes the foundation. Can you see this point? So if the Sattva Guna is not predominant, is not foundation, things will not move. And interestingly, what was being said, this point we miss. Before doing the churning, they collected all sort of herbs and they put in milk ocean. Then only churning started. And when churning started, you know the story, the Vasuki, the serpent named Vasuki, became the rope. Why and how? You know that better, many of you. If you do not know, that is another topic. Very nicely, carefully. That Devatas, all the Devatas cut hold of the tail part and gave the head part to Rakshasas, Asuras, provoking their ego. You know, it's a very nice story from childhood we have heard. So there we say, look, when somebody provokes your ego, you can do anything and everything just to prove yourself at the cost of your life. So this is a beautiful story through this holding the head part and tail part. So that's why every aspect of Purana has got a lot of values to teach. And interestingly, only Sattva Guna is not going to be helpful. Raja Guna and Tamo Guna required. That's why this Mandara Parvata, the mountain, was being taken, and this Parvata was being held by both Brahmaji and Shiva. So that means, in short, that sattva, raja and tama, all these three gunas put together, again balanced this creation, and through the churning different things came up, and in that amrutam was there, and after amrutam many other things also. First came kamadhenu, cow, then comes kalpavruksha, airavata, all these different things came. In short, I am trying to say, and finally came back Lakshmi. So came back, okay? So that's why when Lakshmi came back, why and how, there is a big story behind it. Now again, that Lakshmi, when was offered by Varuna Devata, this ocean god, to Vishnu, all these asuras got angry, because distribution was not proper, they felt. So they attacked this Amrita Kalasham. And when Amrita Kalasham, the Kalasham, that which is nectar, and of course you know this Mohini concept came, they were running around this and that. So while traveling, wherever this Amrutam, the drop of Amrutam fell down, so these are the places where this Kumbh Mela is happening. So they say 4 places has fallen. So one of them is called Prayagaraja, and interestingly, it has fallen on Prayagaraja, this thing called on Mauni Amavasya day, which is falling on 29th this month this year. And during that time, you will see the crowd. We are expecting more than 50 million people. I think up to this, we have covered enough. We will see. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.